Serenity, is your leg doing alright?
Oh, hi, Dad.
I heard that you took a fall down the stairs at school today.
Yeah, I wasn't really paying attention and slipped down the whole flight of them. But besides a couple bangs and bruises, the only real damage was a slight sprain in my left ankle. It's bad enough where I'm being sent home for the day, but it's not that bad, so you don't have to worry about it.
I see. Must be bad enough, though, if you're being sent home.
Well, I only have one period left, so instead of staying at school barely able to walk, they said it's better I go home and rest. That last period is gym as well, so there's really no point in me going if I'm not able to move much.
Well, at least it's not too painful for you right now. By the way, I haven't been able to get in touch with your mum at all today.
Oh, I see. Same with myself. Someone from the school office tried to give her a call as well, telling her about what happened, but she didn't pick up. They gave her office a call as well, but they said she wasn't at work right now.
What is she up to right now, then?
The person from her work said that she might be driving right now, and that's why she hasn't been able to answer.
Ah, that might be the case. But it's been a little bit now, and she still hasn't gotten back to me. Also, sorry about me not being able to call back right away.
Don't worry about it. At least you're texting me now about this. Did you make it over to Minnesota then for your business trip? I'd assume so because you're able to text with me now. Well, anyway, luckily the school got a hold of Grandma and she's on her way with the car right now to get me.
Oh, is that right? She did say to me last week that today she'd have the day off.
Well, since she's on her way, I'll be fine.
Sounds good. I'll make sure to come back from this trip soon, so don't get too crazy with that ankle of yours.
Alright, have a fun time over there.
Hey, thank you.
Dad, I'm in trouble. I need help right now.
What's going on, Serenity? Don't tell me you fell on that ankle again. I really hope that nurse didn't mess up and it's actually broken or something.
No, this isn't about my leg. I just got home a second ago and limped up to the door to unlock it, but for some reason it was already open. I thought that maybe I forgot to lock the door before going to school today, so I just let myself in. But right as I walked through the front door, a man I have never seen before came at me from the toilet.
Huh?
The moment he saw me, he started to scream at me, saying to not come into other people's houses like that. And then he pushed me outside and slammed the door before locking it on me.
Don't tell me you accidentally went to the wrong house.
I didn't, Dad. This is our house. I know it. Grandma was the one to drop me off here as well, so there's no way this is the wrong house.
That's true. What the heck is going on there, then?
I don't think I should be saying something like this to you, Dad.
What do you have to say?
There's a car with the company's name that Mom works for written on it parked in front of the house on the road.
What? So, her company car then?
Yeah. I also saw a woman that looked like Mom in her suit running for it out of the back. I'm not sure it was her though, or not, because she ran past so quickly that I couldn't see her face. And then she got into that company car.
I see. So, that is her company's car then?
I'm not sure I should think this about her, but...
I know, Serenity. I know.
Right now things are too crazy and scary here, so I'm going to stay at Grandma's house. I'm not sure who that was in the house or what he will do, so I'm just going to stay away from here.
Alright. Please go and stay with her then. I don't want you getting any more hurt than you already are. I'm going to try giving your mum one more call, and if she doesn't answer, I might have to call the police. Until I say it's okay for you to go back to the house, stay with your grandma.
Alright. I'm sorry for texting you like this while you're working.
Don't worry about that. This is an emergency, so I'm glad you told me about it. Please go to your grandma's and relax now. Emily? Where are you right now?
I'm out on my break right now. And what's going on with you, Sam? What about your work?
I'm already in Minnesota now, and have some time on my hands to talk.
What?
And all those calls you got from me were about how Serenity sprained her ankle at school today. She got the rest of the day off, and her school and I were trying to reach you about it.
She got the rest of the day off?
She only had one period left, and I think it was gym class or something, so they just sent her home.
Ah, I see. Well, the reason I wasn't able to answer it all is because I've been on the road. So that must mean that Serenity will be getting home really soon here, right?
No, my mum will be taking care of her today. She was the first person to pick up the call from the school, so she went in to pick Serenity up. She took Serenity back home with her, and that's where she's staying at the moment.
Ah, I see. I didn't know that happened.
Anyway, until either myself or you get home, my mum will be looking after her and her sprained ankle.
Well, that's good to hear that she's doing all of that for Serenity.
Now, I'm getting back to work.
I have to get back to work as well here, so I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye. Hey, Dad? You're a bit worried about Mom now, aren't you?
What?
Sorry for talking about this so suddenly. I'm having lunch right now, so I thought I'd text you about this.
Well, I'm on my lunch as well right now, so we can talk if you want. Why would you ask me something like that?
Well, this is the follow-up to what happened the day I got home from school early. I told you about how Mom's company car was parked by the house and how I saw who I thought was her running to it, right?
Well, yeah.
You don't have to hide how you feel about this, Dad. We both know what's going on with her now. Remember how Mom would always go on about how she never had her own company car and always had to share? Well, I think she came to the house that day with the man that kicked me out, and that's why the car was parked outside. She probably never told that man about how she had a daughter in high school or something, and that's why things ended up the way they did that afternoon.
Serenity.
Dad, when I came home from school that day, I walked into Mom having an affair.
You don't have to tell me that.
Dad?
I'm sorry that you had to witness something like that from your own mother. Just leave the rest of this to me, please.
Okay then. Well, that's all I'll say. I'm going with you, Dad, wherever you go, okay?
Serenity. Right now, I'm in the middle of collecting evidence of your mum cheating on me. But when the time comes, I'll let you know what I plan to do, and what'll happen after that. I'm sorry, but can you just keep quiet about all of this for a little longer?
Alright. I'll be fine, Dad.
I'm sorry to ask you that, but thank you. Emily, where are you right now?
I'm on my break right now. What do you need?
This isn't anything we need to talk about right now if you're busy.
Is that right? Well, then I'm sorry to say this, but I'm getting back to work right now, so we can talk later on.
I see. You must be really busy there then. Busy with that man you brought over to the house and all. Well, I'm sorry to say, but I just sold the house, so hurry up and leave there, please.
What? You sold the house? What are you going on about? Also, what man? Right now I'm on my break at work, Sam.
I know, Emily. You're on your break from work right now, and during your break you bring that man to our house and mess around with him there.
Huh?
And that man happened to get a duplicate of the house's key from you. So he comes to the house first sometimes, and then once you've parked your company car out in front of the house on the road, you go inside for a little bit to join him. You both go up to our bedroom and get whatever pleasure you want from one another before you have to get back to work. Normally you both go out on dates and things like that when I'm not in town. And when money is low and you don't have enough for dates, you both use the house instead. Right?
No way. How?
2 months ago, or about that, Serenity came home from school early due to her sprained ankle. Do you remember that?
I remember. Your mom went to the school and got her for us because she was the first to get back to the school about it. And then Serenity stayed at your mom's house for a while, right?
Actually, before she went to my mum's house, she went home, thinking that everything would be all right there.
What?
During that time, Serenity walked into the house after realizing the door was unlocked, and she was met by your boyfriend coming out of the bathroom.
Huh?
Your boyfriend had no idea that you had yourself a daughter who was in high school. He screamed at her saying that she can't come into random people's houses like that before he kicked her out.
He never told me anything about that.
So you know about him, hmm? Does this mean we can agree that you've been cheating on me with him then?
Wait a second.
Whether you want to confess to it or not, I already have all the proof I need of you cheating. So you're not going to fool me anymore.
You're kidding me. So because of that one instance, you were able to catch on to everything?
And that's why that house is sold now.
What?
You had a man that Serenity had no clue about in that house alone with her, and he screamed at her before kicking her out. She is scared to death now, going to the house all on her own, and she doesn't even want to live there anymore. You think that either of us want to live in the same house that you were cheating on me in? No way.
Hold on a second, Sam. Does this mean that both you and Serenity have moved already?
That's right. We've moved.
No way. Come on now, Sam. I just started to have a look around the house right now, and both your things and hers are all gone.
We learned that you'd always bring your boyfriend over in the afternoon to have sex with him. So this morning we took care of all our things before you came. In 2 days, the new owners of the house will be there, so you need to leave soon.
In 2 days?
I'll make sure to talk to your parents about everything that's happened for you.
Huh?
I'm sure you'll be able to go back to their house and live there, so don't get too worried.
What? You can't do that to me. You understand that both my parents hate people that are not faithful when married, right? So don't tell me to calm down right now. Are you trying to pick on me now?
Oh, does it sound like I'm picking on you right now? Also, I've already made sure to talk with your boyfriend's parents about all this.
What?
I can't believe that he was hiding the fact that he has a kid from you as well. And on top of that, he's already divorced, but still talks with his ex-wife's parents.
What? No!
Now, just a second ago, his parents sent him a very scary message. I'm sure that he's looking at that message from them right in front of your eyes, right?
Huh? How could you tell them about all of this?
Well, that's how the cookie crumbles, I guess. So now that you're aware of all that, the next step between you and I is talking about divorce and what that entails.
Divorce?
Anyway, if you have anything else to say to me over text, please talk to my lawyer about it first.
You are terrible. I was thinking at least with this divorce I'd still be able to marry my boyfriend. But now that you told him about how I was already married to you while this was going on, he's run off and I can't get an answer from him. Also, I was thinking that I could meet with Serenity today and talk with her, so I waited outside the school. But when she came out to leave the school, she just ignored me and walked off with her friends. I am that child's mother. You are stealing everything I had. You're a jerk. And now you're asking to get a settlement from me as well? You are a frickin' demon. Satan! How about you pick up your dang phone, Sam?
That last group of messages I got from Emily seemed to me like she was very upset. So I waited a couple more days to go and talk with her while my lawyer was with me. and that seemed to help make her shut up. My lawyer told her that she needed to pay me in one payment and would also be paying child support for a few more years. And then he finished by saying that I'd be blocking her number and all her social media accounts so that she could never get a hold of me again. After that, she ended up paying me the settlement and would begin paying child support every month. I was also thinking about getting a settlement from her boyfriend, but felt bad because he never knew that Emily was married. But a little while after the divorce, his sister came to my house and apologized to me for everything he had done, made sure that he'd send me some money as an apology. With that, well, I'd say that I'm happy with the outcome. At about the same time as the divorce, Emily was fired from her job. The reason for that being she used the company car to come all the way back to the house on her breaks to cheat on me. Also, both of her parents ended up cutting ties with her. Emily had literally lost everything, including her parents' love, and left town to go find somewhere no one would find her. Even to this day, I'm not sure where she is, but I do know that she's still alive somewhere and making money, as I'm still getting child support from her every month. As for myself and Serenity, after everything, we moved to the other side of town, into a house close to my parents' home. I'm still working my same old job, and since Serenity is old enough to take care of herself most of the time, I don't have to worry about anyone being there to watch her. Also, with us being so close to my parents now, she feels a lot more comfortable coming home, knowing that if there ever is another stranger in the home, she can run right over to their house and wait for me.
May I know if this is Miss Amelia?
Yes, it's me. And you are?
Nice to meet you, Miss Amelia. My name is Henry. I was hired by your father, Mr. Smith, not long ago. He wanted me to keep you away from all of the misshapes and life-threatening dangers that are predicted to happen in the near future.
What mishaps? Can you make it more specific?
There's something you need to know, Miss Amelia. Your father told me that he has been battling a brain tumor for at least 3 years now. He decided not to tell you about his sickness because making you sad or concerned is the last thing he wants to do. His condition only gets worse as he gets older. Until recently, a flare-up has caused his life to hang on a thread.
What? This can't be true. Why did he hide that cold and harsh truth from me? He knows how important he is to me, as my mother left us behind to pursue her own happiness. My father had to assume the responsibility of both man and woman in our family. Yet, not once in my whole life have I ever heard a single complaint from him. He even chose not to remarry so that he could put his heart and soul into raising me. His love for me truly can't be described by words.
I can feel how deeply connected you and your father are, and I'm truly sorry for what you have to go through right now. I know this is difficult to bear all at once, but you need to be strong. Mr. Smith anticipated that when everyone knows about his current condition, some unfortunate events may happen to you and your dad's company. That's why I'm here, to make sure that you'll be safe, no matter what circumstances. Are you still with me, Miss Amelia?
Yes, continue where you're at. I'm just gathering my courage, trying to calm down and not crying too much.
I know you're a brave girl, Miss Amelia, and your father is always proud of you for that.
But wait, why should I put my trust in everything you have to say? Clearly you just must be some random person who happened to know my number.
Mrs. Smith figured that you would ask something similar. This is why your father asked me to personally send you a keepsake that's very dear to him, which is your mother's necklace. It should have arrived in your mailbox by now.
Give me a few minutes to check. Well, I guess what you said is believable, because the one I found in my mailbox is definitely my mom's necklace, which my dad always carries in his pocket wherever he goes.
Look, your father is still fighting hard for his life. Although he can hardly move, he's still able to talk and remains conscious about what's going on around him. In around 3 days, I'll read his testament on his behalf at the hospital. According to his will, you, Miss Amelia, will inherit not only his incredibly large fortune, but also his $1 million company.
Well, money and power are never my first priorities. All I care about right now is my dad's vitality and well-being.
Money and power may not matter much to you, but your father fears that some people may try to steal them from you, or even try to get rid of you so that they can lay their hands on your father's enormous property. That's why I'm here to protect you, and I'll be secretly watching over you from afar, and immediately interfere whenever I feel that your safety is in peril. But you gotta make sure that no one can find out the truth about me, even the people who are closest to you.
If that's what my dad wants, then I have no reason to disobey. But may I know the identity of people who want to harm me to appropriate my dad's wealth?
Well, there are some names on your father's list of possible suspects. Until now, they haven't made any shady move yet. But it doesn't mean that you can let your guard down. Remember, anything can happen and put your life at risk after your father makes his announcement in a few days. And you have to prepare yourself for the worst case scenarios.
I understand. Thanks for the advice. Honey, my heart will be broken into 1,000,000 pieces if one day I can no longer see my dad again.
You know it hurts me as much as it hurts you. But as the doctor said, your father's at the final stage and his chances of making it through are very slim.
Please don't say that. It saddens me to an infinite extent.
I'm well aware that your dad occupies a very special place in your heart. But now that his part in this lifetime is almost complete, don't you think it's about time that we need to start focusing on keeping up his legacy and make him proud?
Legacy? You mean his company?
Well, I don't see any point in avoiding this matter. In fact, your father has dedicated his whole life for the growth of the company. Correspondingly, I'm sure that he would want us to take over his place and prolong his thriving business, don't you think? It really doesn't make any sense if you let his lifelong effort go down the drain by worrying too much about his destined demise.
I mean, you may have a point in what you're saying, but honestly, there's no spare room for anything else in my mind right now, other than my dad's life being on the line.
I acknowledge what you have said, and I'm sympathetic to it. However, an organization can't operate without a leader. If you feel like you're not up for the task just yet, it's my duty, as your husband, to help you weather the storm and get through this time. To put it more precisely, I would like to lend you a helping hand and take the responsibility of Chief Executive Officer, the position which your dad used to have. Of course, the company share that your father once held is still under your ownership. So, what do you say?
Well, I really appreciate your thoughtfulness towards me. Nevertheless, my dad had stated very clearly and in detail in his statement that he wants me to assume the role of Chief Executive Officer. And for that reason, I'm not planning to do anything that's against his last wish.
Wait, do you seriously think that a woman is adequate for such a prestigious leadership role like CEO? Significant positions, especially company leaders, are not a joke, and they're obviously not meant for women, honey. Don't let your brainless things like feminism trick you into thinking that you'll be able to fulfill such a substantial duty.
What is your problem with women taking on significant positions at the workplace, really?
Amelia, you do realize that women always have to depend on men to get everything done, right? You women can never decide anything for yourself, and you easily let your emotions get the best of you. If you still care about the family that we'll build together, you should reconsider your place and fulfill your duties as a wife, which means doing household chores and bearing my children.
Well, I don't see anything wrong with me taking on leadership responsibilities. I graduated top of my class, and I dedicated 7 years to achieve my master's degree and PhD in economics. I even devoted more time working for the company than you did. To back up my words, I'd started from the bottom and I made my way to higher positions step by step. Nothing was handed to me on a silver platter, you know.
I know, but don't you think it's a little weird that the husband works as a subordinate to the wife?
Why? I don't see anything that's weird about it. Honey, it's about finding the one that's more suitable for the job. That's all. It has nothing to do with the roles we have in our family.
I honestly don't have any clue about why I still have to stick with an inferior job title like sales manager. It's literally nothing compared to your position, which leaves me no choice but feeling unfairly treated. I mean, didn't he take any of my hard work into account?
You do realize that to get to the point where you're at now, it takes other people at least 3 years? You had it easy enough and got promoted to manager in only 5 months just because you're my husband.
I mean, what will other people say? They may think that I'm nothing but merely a parasite in your family.
Not getting the highest position of the company doesn't make you a parasite, William. What's wrong with you all of a sudden? I thought you enjoyed your current job.
I did, until I figured out how deceitful your father was. He promised that I would take his place after he retired. Now he swallowed his own words and had you take over the position instead.
What? How can you make up such a lie? If my father intended to let you take control of the company, he would have told me about it. He never makes any important decisions without letting me know firsthand. Look, William, I don't want us to fight over this kind of thing. We're family, and being family means helping each other out in times of need, not picking a quarrel with one another over power and inheritance.
Let me make it clear to you once and for all. If I don't get to work as the chief executive officer of the company, I demand a divorce as soon as possible.
What? How could you say that so easily after our 3 years of marriage? And most important of all, in the toughest time of my life, when I'm about to lose my father?
Well, your father doesn't treat me very nicely as well. He let you inherit his position because me and him are not biologically related. Guess once an outsider, always an outsider, right? He never saw me as his son after all. I said it. Let me take over your dad's position, or you can consider that our marriage is over.
All right, I'll think long and hard about it. William, you can't believe what happened to me when I was on my way home after Dad's funeral. First, I was nearly hit by a truck while crossing the road. Then, out of nowhere, a flower pot almost fell onto my head. I bent down to tighten up my shoelaces. That was why I didn't get hit. After that, there were some people sawing down a huge tree, and I was nearly crushed by that. It definitely was not a lucky day for me. But where are you now, William? After the funeral ended, you were nowhere to be found. Everyone was so worried and they looked for you everywhere.
What a shame to hear all of those unfortunate events. I'm not at home, by the way. And why should I be?
What? What are you saying?
Well, first of all, now that your father is dead, why should I be around you anymore? After all, it's his fortune and power that I went after in the beginning, not some kind of foolish love between you and I.
You're telling me you didn't have any feelings for me in the first place?
Not a tiny bit. Do you actually think that I approached you and your family because I fell for you? That's the most ridiculous joke that I've ever heard in my entire life. The only attractive thing about you is your dad's money.
But I'm still the one who is in charge of my dad's company, right? How can you be so cocky?
Well, not anymore. I now own papers proving that I'm the person who's gonna take over your dad's place as a CEO. He even gave me his shares in the company and every property that he possesses, including the house in which you're living.
What? How could it even be possible? That's against the decision that he stated in his testament. There's no way he could do it without my approval. Don't you dare make things up. You know faking legal papers is a serious crime.
Why should I be scared of your meaningless threat? My documents certainly comply with the law and regulations. They even contain your own father's handwriting and signature. So how can they be fake? Face the fact that from now on, you'll be officially kicked out of your dad's company and from your own fancy house. However, if you behave well, I'll show some mercy and let you work as a cleaner at the company.
I can't believe you can be so ruthless and careless. You make it seem like we were never husband and wife. Like we were nothing but strangers.
It seems like you can't comprehend the situation very quickly, can't you? Look, it's over between us, and you'll be served with divorce papers soon enough. What's left for me is to enjoy my victory alongside the true love of my life, Luna. She's the one I'm gonna spend the rest of my life with.
What? So you've been cheating on me too? How did I not notice that? In my eyes, you were a dutiful husband and a pious son-in-law to my father. You never came home late. You cooked for us whenever I was busy. You even took great care of my dad during his final days of living, as if he was your own biological dad. How did you change all of a sudden?
Well, I didn't change anything. All I did was a little acting to cover my true intention. You don't know how much I had to contain myself from laughing as I saw you were blindly believing in everything I did and said.
How could you do this to me? I just can't believe all of this. To think how kind me and my dad were to a jerk like you gives me chills down my spine.
Kind? Am I hearing it correctly? Your father treated me like dirt. He didn't even let me take over the position that was rightfully mine all along. And you know what? He even had the nerve to, not just one time, scolded me and embarrassed me in front of my coworkers. I literally have no respect for that man.
So you were holding a grudge against my dad this whole time? I mean, if he ever criticized you or your work, it was just because he wants you to be a better version of yourself and make progress.
Well, now that hypocrite can carry all the criticism with him to his grave. So long, Amelia. Enjoy your homeless life. What is this, Amelia? Did you plan all of this?
And what exactly are you talking about?
Why, all of a sudden, I'm no longer the CEO of the company anymore. The securities didn't even let me in.
Why are you asking me that question? Shouldn't you be the one who needs to interrogate your own conscience about all the good deeds you did behind my back? I can't believe such a cruel, heartless, and gruesome person like you would exist.
What are you trying to say? Spit it out.
Stop playing the fool. First, you took advantage of my father's sickness and brutally forced my father to sign all kinds of papers so that you can claim ownership of his fortune and his shares in the company. You threatened him, grabbed him by his neck. You even beat him, ruthlessly. For a person that had only days to live like my father, how could he bear such an act of violence? You knew that, and you left him there dying all alone. It was you who killed my father.
Hold on. Are you even listening to your own voice right now? Don't just accuse someone out of nowhere without evidence.
I know damn well that I have all the evidence in the world to start a lawsuit against you. Do you know what I'm possessing right now? Full-length footage of you torturing my dad so that you can achieve your evil ambition. It was recorded by the hospital's cameras. Never in my worst nightmare could I imagine that one day my dad would be tortured to death by his own son-in-law.
What? I thought I took care of it.
You did do something about it. But fortunately, my bodyguard was smart enough to trace you down and recover the footage.
Where the hell did you get yourself a bodyguard? That's just insane. I think what you just said is just a work of your imagination. I mean, you're just talking nonsense to scare me.
Not only that, my bodyguard also provided the police with evidence proving how you and your mistress pull off every scheme you could come up with to murder me so that no one could ever threaten your throne anymore. Honestly, I can't imagine how wicked and cold-blooded you can get in order to seize what you want. Just in the morning, if my bodyguard hadn't tested the food before giving it to me, I would have been poisoned to death. Guess you also bribed the hotel staff, right? Just like every other sin you committed when you were working for my dad, right?
You'd better watch your mouth, you wretch.
Let me see. Faking receipts, taking bribes, embezzling the company's operating budget, leaking confidential information to other competitors, and not to mention murdering my father and failed attempt to assassinate me? I'm done arguing with an inhumane person like you. If I were in your shoes right now, I would start coming up with any possible reasons to defend myself in front of the court.
Oh no, I think a police officer is knocking at my door. What should I do? Please, withdraw your complaint along with the evidence. You can't do this to me.
Your days of abusing your power and violence are over, William. Don't ever let me see your face again. As the story got around, my case immediately grabbed the press's attention. The public, especially William's colleagues, were so angry that they even came to William's parents' place to demand justice for me. William fought as hard as he could and came up with every absurd and invalid argument to defend his crimes. However, with all the evidence that my bodyguard secretly helped me gather, I still won the case. Finally, my ex-husband's mask was exposed along with all of the dreadful crimes that he committed for the sake of power and money. William was sentenced to 20 years in prison, and all of his property was confiscated and returned to its rightful owner, which is me, the CEO of my dad's company. Being a competent, talented woman with a solid academic background, the substantial duty of a leader doesn't slow me down at work. In fact, it helps my capacity and qualities stand out, which contributes to fortifying the position at the company. My bodyguard is still doing a great job at protecting me from every danger I could possibly encounter. Well, he's not only my bodyguard anymore, but he's also my best friend, a person who I can share each and every one of my secrets with. And most importantly, he's my future husband.